In 2025, the process of changing from a U.S. tourist visa to a student visa has become significantly more complicated due to sweeping immigration reforms under President Donald Trump's administration. For many individuals currently in the United States on a B1 or B2 visa, whether visiting family, exploring tourist destinations, or conducting short-term business, the dream of staying longer to pursue higher education is now tangled in layers of new restrictions, social media checks, delays, and heightened scrutiny. This video will walk you through the updated step-by-step guide for switching from a tourist visa to a student visa in 2025, highlighting both the technical process and the real challenges international applicants face today. Let's begin by understanding the fundamental difference between these two visas. A B1/B2 visa is a non-immigrant, short-term entry pass granted for either business B1 or pleasure tourism B2. It typically allows stays of up to 6 months. In contrast, the F1 visa is issued to students accepted into accredited U.S. educational institutions, allowing them to stay for the duration of their academic program, plus a limited grace period. On paper, the process of transitioning from a B1/B2 to an F1 visa involves changing your status through USCIS, or leaving the U.S. and applying for a new F1 visa abroad. However, in 2025, this process has become heavily influenced by political priorities, national security concerns, and data tracking policies initiated by the Trump administration. One of the most disruptive updates in 2025 is the temporary pause on new student visa interviews at U.S. embassies and consulates around the world. This suspension was announced in May, just months after Trump returned to office, and it aims to implement a new, extensive social media screening protocol. Under these changes, all applicants for student and exchange visas, specifically the F, M, and J categories, must now undergo deep background checks that include analysis of social media accounts, posts, photos, and affiliations from the past 5 years. According to officials, the goal is to prevent the entry of individuals who may hold anti-Semitic views, support terrorism, or be linked to anti-American activism. However, critics argue that the policy unfairly targets students from certain countries and ethnic backgrounds and is causing unnecessary delays and confusion, especially for applicants with no criminal or extremist history. So, what should you do if you're already in the U.S. on a tourist visa and want to apply for a student visa? There are 2 primary pathways. One is to apply for a change of status through U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, USCIS. The other is to return to your home country and apply for a student visa from a U.S. embassy or consulate. Let's explore both options in detail. If you decide to change your status from B1/B2 to F1 while staying in the U.S., you will need to follow several crucial steps. First, you must apply to and gain admission to a Student and Exchange Visitor Program SEVP certified school. Once accepted, the school's designated school official, DSO, will issue you Form E-20, which is essential to the entire student visa process. This form not only outlines your academic program and costs, but also indicates whether the request is for a change of status or for consular processing. Once you receive your I-20, you'll need to pay the $350 SEVIS I-901 fee online, which funds the student tracking system used by the Department of Homeland Security. With your I-20 and SEVIS receipt in hand, the next step is to file Form 1539 with USCIS. This is the official application to change your immigration status. It's crucial to include all required documents, including a copy of your I-20, your financial evidence showing that you can support your education and living expenses, a copy of your current visa, and a well-written personal statement explaining your sudden change of plans. It is important to emphasize that you did not intend to study in the U.S. when you initially entered on a tourist visa, as entering the country with a pre-planned but undisclosed intention to study can lead to visa fraud accusations. One major complication is timing. If your B1, B2 status expires before your new academic program begins, you may be required to file additional bridge applications to maintain legal status in the interim period. In 2025, USCIS processing times for I-539 applications have stretched to an average of 8 to 14 months. Although premium processing has been introduced for some non-immigrant categories, including students, this service costs an extra $1,965 and only guarantees a response within 30 calendar days, not necessarily an approval, so patience and planning are vital. Alternatively, many students choose to leave the U.S. and apply for an F1 visa at a consulate in their home country. This path, known as consular processing, is often faster and can be less risky in terms of denial due to intent questions. However, under the new policies in 2025, even this route comes with challenges. Several U.S. embassies have either slowed down or halted student visa interviews entirely due to ongoing system updates for the new vetting process. Moreover, rejection rates have increased, especially for applicants from countries with high visa overstays or strained diplomatic ties with the U.S. If you choose the consular path, the steps are as follows. Gain admission to a SEVP-certified school, pay your USCIS I-901 fee, and complete Form DS-160, the standard online application for all non-immigrant U.S. visas. You then schedule a visa interview at your local embassy or consulate. Be prepared with your passport, Form I-20, SEVIS receipt, academic transcripts, standardized test scores if applicable, and most importantly, solid evidence of your financial capacity and ties to your home country. Consular officers are trained to spot red flags, especially applicants who may be using the student visa as a backdoor to stay in the U.S. permanently. One of the biggest issues facing student visa applicants in 2025 is the increased revocation and denial of existing visas. Under a newly enacted executive order titled Protecting America from Foreign Ideological Threats, students from certain flagged countries or with questionable online histories have seen their visas revoked or denied without warning. This policy has affected thousands of students, including those from China, Iran, and even Latin America. In addition, universities across the U.S., especially in states like Texas and Pennsylvania, are reporting steep drops in international enrollment, which could cost their economies hundreds of millions of dollars. Beyond the paperwork, one of the most important parts of your application is proving non-immigrant intent. This means you must convince the immigration officer that you plan to return to your home country after completing your studies. Documents that can help include property ownership records, job offers from home, family obligations, or a detailed career plan linked to your native country. In 2025, this aspect is more critical than ever, especially since USCIS and consular officers are being instructed to assume that most applicants intend to immigrate unless proven otherwise. Also, beware of the 90-day rule. This unofficial USCIS guideline suggests that if you apply to change status within 90 days of entering the U.S. on a tourist visa, your application may be viewed with suspicion. Officers could presume that you misled immigration at entry. To avoid this, many immigration lawyers recommend waiting at least 90 days before submitting your change of status application and including a clear explanation of why your plans changed. So, what's the best path forward? It depends on your specific case. If you are already in the U.S. and your tourist visa is still valid for many months, a change of status might work. Just be prepared for delays. If your visa is close to expiring or you fear rejection, consular processing from your home country may be safer. In either case, consulting with an experienced immigration attorney is strongly recommended, especially under the current political environment. Changing from a B1/B2 tourist visa to an F1 student visa in 2025 is still possible, but it's no longer straightforward. With Trump's renewed focus on immigration enforcement, ideological screening, and national security, every application is being evaluated with a higher level of scrutiny. Whether you're already in the U.S. or preparing to apply from abroad, preparation, documentation, and honesty are your best tools for success. If this video helped clarify your path, don't forget to like, comment your questions below, and subscribe for more real immigration updates.